What do you do when the past you've run from finally catches up? I stood at the edge of my mother's bed, a stiff chair beneath me, the scent of antiseptic thick in the air. Her face was a pale reflection of the woman I remembered, sharp, commanding, always in control. Now, her skin was thin as paper, her eyes closed, her breath shallow and uneven. It had been 10 years since I last saw her. 10 years since I had packed my bags and fled from this town, determined never to return. Yet here I was. My phone buzzed in my pocket, a reminder of the art gallery opening in New York tomorrow. My assistant's message flashed on the screen. "Where are you?" I sighed, silencing it. Where was I, indeed? Caught between two worlds. The life I'd built for myself as an artist in the city, and the life I'd abandoned back here in this little town with its suffocating closeness and memories that stuck like burrs to my skin. "She won't wake up today," a nurse said softly, breaking into my thoughts. "You should go home, get some rest." Home. That word stung like a slap. I hadn't thought of this place as home in years. Yet, as I stepped out of the hospital, I found myself instinctively heading toward our old house, my feet crunching on the gravel path I knew so well. The house looked smaller, more fragile than I remembered. The paint was peeling, and the garden my mother had once tended so meticulously was overgrown, wild with weeds. I hesitated at the front door, my hand hovering over the worn brass handle. Could I really go back in there? Did I want to? The door creaked open, and the smell of old wood and lavender hit me, sending me tumbling back in time. I could almost hear my mother's voice, scolding me for leaving my art supplies scattered all over the living room. Back then, I was always lost in a world of colors and sketches, dreaming of a life far away from here. My mother never understood my obsession. She wanted me to be practical, to have a stable career, to marry someone from town, to stay close. Instead, I'd chosen the path she feared most. I had chased my dreams to the city, carved a name for myself with my paintings, and left behind everything she wanted for me, including her. I wandered through the house, the silence thick and heavy. My eyes fell on a photo of us on the mantel, me, my mother, and my little brother, Jamie. The day that picture was taken, I was 17, freshly accepted into an art school. Jamie was only 12, still wide-eyed and full of life. I had left him behind too, left him to deal with our mother's sharp tongue, and the burden of being the good child who stayed. The last time I saw him, he was only a boy. Now, he was a stranger. I wondered what he would say when he saw me, how he would look at me. Would there be anger in his eyes, disappointment? Or worse, would he look right through me, as if I were already gone? I felt a rush of emotion that I hadn't allowed myself to feel in years. I had built walls around my heart, walls that were supposed to protect me from this pain, this guilt. But here, this house, they felt like prison bars. I needed air, needed to escape again, but my feet felt like they were glued to the floor. And then I heard a faint knock on the door. I turned, my heart pounding. When I opened it, there stood Jamie, older, taller, with lines on his face I didn't remember. His expression was guarded, his eyes searching mine for something. "Hey," he said, his voice deeper than I recalled, but still Jamie's. "I thought you might be here." Swallowed hard. "Jamie." He raised a hand, stopping me. "I'm not here for apologies, Aaron. Let's not pretend it's that simple." His tone was matter of fact, almost gentle. "Mom's sick, and I figured you'd want to see her. But don't make this about us." "Not yet." I nodded, the words caught in my throat. I had rehearsed 1,000 things to say if I ever saw him again, but they all felt hollow now, inadequate. Instead, I stepped aside, letting him into the house, into this space filled with ghosts of our past. We sat in silence for a while, both of us unsure where to begin. The ticking of the old clock on the wall felt louder than ever, counting down the moments. Finally, Jamie spoke. "She talked about you a lot, you know, even after you left." His voice was soft, almost wistful. "She kept all your paintings, even the ones you didn't like. She said they were special." I felt a lump in my throat. I had thought she hated my art, resented it for taking me away from her. And yet, she kept them? Jamie continued. "She wasn't perfect, Aaron, but neither were we. Maybe it's time we all let go of what we thought we knew." I felt a tear roll down my cheek, surprised at the warmth in his voice, the understanding I had never expected. Maybe he was right. Maybe it was time to let go, to stop running from the past that had shaped me, even the parts that hurt. Maybe it was time to start again. We stayed like that, in the old house, not saying much, just sitting with the truth between us. The walls felt a little less like prison bars now, and I felt a crack in the armor I had worn for so long. I didn't know what would come next, but for the first time in a decade, I felt like I might be ready to find out. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with your friends. Thanks for watching.